Good morning. It is the holiday season, and I have several gourds at a local holiday house. Depending on how you construct your gourds, parts of them can be a little bit delicate. It's very often for items to get dropped while people are handling them and looking at them and shopping. So yesterday I got a call that one of my gourds had been dropped and that the top of it was, they didn't say fractured, they said it was like smashed into smithereens or something like that, and it got me really worried. And I ran down there, got it out of the boo-boo box, brought it home, and the woman who dropped it wants to purchase it. That's nice. As soon as I fix it, I'll show you what happened. What happened was, I guess she dropped it and it went like this. These stems can break. Here's the other thing. Because this color was an absolute one-of-a-kind, I had done several shades of green and then several shades of blue and then just gotten it as dark as I possibly could with some of the turquoise coming through because I wanted it to be very jewel-like. That means there's absolutely no way I can replicate this color. None. So here's what I'm going to do, and I took inspiration from what I had already done. I've got some gold wrapping here on the top, and I also have an ornament that I made. I took the cutout from this gourd and made it into an ornament with some pretty beads, and it is on gold wire as well. And this ornament actually kind of like a, I don't know, I just made it that the ornament would hang and be close to the butterfly, and someone could take this ornament off and use it as a Christmas ornament or use it somewhere else. It doesn't have to stay with the gourd. It's just a part of the gourd. And in fact, I might have to do some more of these. These I don't have to do a tutorial because these are so easy and so fun. But if you slip and mess up, it's really easy to tell. Anyway, it might surprise you that Gourders have got tons of things. Tons of things. Just had a discussion on Crafter Day that we need a little bit of everything. So this is a box that I keep metal things in, and gosh, it's not nearly full enough, is it? I need to buy some more things. And what I have in here is I have some very thick wire, which might be my choice, and then I have a whole bunch of thin wires. And I can see that I must have really liked the turquoise. It's pretty much gone. Looks like I haven't used much purple. It's pretty much there. And I could wrap, no, I'm not going to wrap that in turquoise. There's an empty spool. That was probably a black or a white. There's some silver. But these come in all sort of fun colors. I'll leave links below. Stems of gourds do break. People do like to see the natural part of the stem. So what I'm going to need to do is this part, I just wanted it to look finished. And so that's why there's a little bit of wrapping there. But what I can also do is do a wrapping in this area that got absolutely butchered on the wood floors. I could just do a wrap in that section. It will take a lot of wire. I might use the thicker. Only the thicker might look too thick. Just too coarse for the fineness of this. But I think that is going to be my solution. Some other things that you can do. If it's a good clean break and it's one that you are going to apply some color to, you haven't applied the color yet, you can hot glue. You can put hot glue in there and then kind of mush it together. You could take a piece of plastic or something like that so that it doesn't stick to your fingers and mush it after you've gotten the glue in there. That's one technique I've used a lot. Another technique I've used is the same as with my implants, where I have the gourd top and I have a bit of toothpick about that much, and I push some of it into that part and some of it into that part with hot glue on each end of it, and that helps stabilize it, and it also helps keep it connected. And if somebody drops it, I guess it'll break at a different spot. So those are a couple ways that you could repair the top of the gourd. And I'm going to stick this end down in the triage for gourd. I'm going to stick it down in there, and I'm just going to kind of mash that whole area together and let it settle a bit. See about wrapping. And looks like I haven't used this one yet, and I have to get the end of it out of a little capture point. I don't want to put a whole lot of bends in the wire. Now the trick is going to be, this one is stiffer. I see which color is completely empty. The color that's completely empty is the gold that I used on several gourds for that finishing. But it does look like I used this heavier wire on the ornament. Alright, there's got to be a way to make sure that the wire stays put. I don't want any kinks in it in the beginning. So I can see if it will stick in. Yes, it will stick in. See if my glue gun is hot enough. It is. Okay, so I've got a dab of glue there, because the last thing I want is for the end to stick out and someone hurt their hand. And I probably have a good idea of how to do this because of whipping lines on both. And the idea is that you take the line that you want to whip or wrap, you run it one way, and then you run it the other way, and then you do all of your whipping. Then you put your end through that loop that is sitting there, and then you pull this in, and that pulls that raw end into the middle of your whip stitch, which is a really nice technique on line, but I don't think it'll work on metal. But the main thing with metal is I see even this one is kind of loosening up, is how do you secure it. And I think the tip would be for the very last couple wrap, put down some hot glue or super glue or something. Here's what I've got. I've got the wire down into the base. It is secured with the hot glue, so that way it's not going to jump out. I need to come down to where I want to start, which is going to be pretty low because they really did a number on this one when it was dropped. Got to put it down to where I want to start, and then I'm going to start wrapping. I hope she likes my solution, and I'm wondering if before I wrap I should at least put some blue on here, and I have got a blue permanent marker just in case any of it shows through. Because this part of the gourd is pretty porous, this will sort of blend in. Oh, there's so much. It's so shattered. That was the word they used, shattered. They told me it was shattered, and I envisioned the whole gourd being shattered. I'm just coloring it up a little bit so that as I wrap around, even if a little bit shows through, doesn't look beige. But this could be a nice element, more wrapping rather than less. You'll have to figure out what your wire costs you and adjust your prices accordingly. And I'm wondering if I should up the price on this one because now I'm going to have $2 worth of copper wire in it. I have salvaged some copper from some house demolition projects, and it's so nice. It's the nice coppery color that has a whole lot of green and the patina and everything, just like the Statue of Liberty. Okay, so here's another tip. If you get a gourd and it doesn't have its little stem, which I think looks really important for it to have a little stem, what you do is on another gourd where you have cut the stem off, you attach the stem to the new gourd. I know, that sounds kind of like cheating. No one's ever going to know that you have put a different stem on it. They're not going to realize it wasn't the original stem. This is hard to pull tight like you would if it was leather or something of that nature and it was wet, and you would pull tight and anticipate that it would shrink a bit eventually. This is, if I pull on this, the whole stem will just flop around. Okay, I'm really glad that I did that. I feel like the price of this gourd is about to go up $4. Let me know in the comments below if someone breaks your gourd and you have to repair it and you have to use more materials that cost you more money. Do you get to charge more for it? I know you heard that. That was the top actually breaking a little bit. I think I'm going to have to go one way and then go the other. To repair it, I should just snip it off and say, oh, I fixed it. That'd be so much faster. Other things you could use to wrap. You could use yarn. You could use strips of cloth. I've used embroidery floss plenty of times because embroidery floss comes in so many colors. You are pretty much guaranteed that you are going to find a color that matches, and that's really nice. The other nice thing about embroidery floss is that when you go to church sales or bazaars, there were a lot of people who were doing embroidery, and they're no longer doing it, whatever reason. And so you could pick up some really great deals on embroidery floss. I have a drawer full of embroidery floss. Yeah, I think I might do some more of these. I had forgotten how much I enjoyed doing the cutouts. Plus, it gives everyone an additional ornament that they could use for I could use it for a fan pole. They can hang it in a window. So it kind of gives them two things that coordinate, that can decorate together. Okay, just keep going. Can you hear those dogs? They're car dogs. Those are schnauzers, and we call them half-mile howlers because you can hear them half a mile away. And right now it's dark out. The sun's going to be coming up, and the turkeys might be starting to move, so they might be howling at the turkeys. Now, I have got it at a pretty good spot. I need to cut it, I need to tuck the end in, and I need to secure it. Although to me, it does not look perfect. I think that's only because I know what I'm looking at. Snipping it off. I've got a whole set of these in all different sizes. You can see how old they are. The handles are all dirty, but I like them because they have a little two pieces of metal here that make them spring open, so when you're working one-handed, you can get to things. Okay. what I want to do is I want to take these and curl this end in somewhere and kind of lock it in. Just giving a little squeeze to make sure everything's tight and to kind of help the levels settle down. There's an area that didn't really gotten a little bit of a holiday. I can't believe this. I'm going around a second time to try and make sure that all those little gaps are filled. I want it to be nice and smooth. This reminds me of those candles that have a long amount of wax that's kind of flexible and they're on a roller and you roll off the amount that you need. I don't want this to look clumsy. I want it to look very nice, tidy. This section looks a little bit fatter, so I'm pulling it. I need to get below this lump. I want to make sure the end of this wire is really secure. Actually scratch the cord with my tool, and the marker surprisingly has the purplish hue. It looks like a little pigtail. I think I'm going to need to put the little accent back toward the end just because it looks a little bit, it looks naked to me with the end sticking out with no trim on it. Wow, so here's the original amount of wire that I had used, and now I've got another like 3 feet on it. Oh boy. And this wire is so thin it doesn't undo very well. It gets kinks in it. I'm trying to pull the kinks out. Okay, I got that one out, and I got that kink out, and the other kink is out. Alright, I'll definitely need some glue to hold this little tiny wire down. Wonder if people ever do more damage than they fix when they do repairs. That'd be kind of sad. Just in case you took a picture of it and wonders where the gold wrapping went that was on the end. I'm putting it back. The tiniest bit of glue so that all this wire will sit there. This time that wire's not going to get loose, so maybe it's good that I had a second chance at this and learned a whole lot. What I learned was that wire needs to be anchored, and glue is a great way to do it. Alright, so there is our repair. Once we hang the butterflies from it, they blend in. Looks kind of fancy. It kind of feels like I need to balance off this copper with some copper down this way. However, the ornament was just an extra that could be hung somewhere else, so I'm okay with that. Thanks for watching. I will link these nifty little boxes that are so cool. Although I don't really like plastic, I think these were given to me and so I use them. And I'll also link some metal supplies because having a good variety of items like this really helped me out in making this repair quickly and fairly efficiently. So thank you very much for watching and happy gourding. I hope you've got a good project going. There it is. Ready to go back to the holiday house. Round 2. If it gets dropped this time, it would break up that way. I could still fix it one more time. Thanks for watching.